Hi, I'm Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum, and today we're talking about autism and sexuality. Let's talk about sex, baby. Okay, sorry. Anyways, this is a big, important topic to cover, and I'm thinking I'm going to make it a series. This is going to be kind of a general overview of autism and sexuality, and then I'm thinking part 2 will probably be a definition of helpful terms for gender identity and sexual identity, for better understanding those. And then I think part 3 is going to be helpful tips for navigating sexual experiences as an autistic person. So lots of things will be said during this video. I'm not sure what the algorithm is going to do to me, but I'm not scared. And I hope that if you find this video, it is helpful to you. Now, before we jump in today, I want to make sure you know about my brand new resource called How to Unstuckify Your Life. If you are feeling stuck navigating autistic challenges, maybe you're just now becoming aware of challenges that you face as a late diagnosed autistic person, which is a significant portion of the community here you'll find at Mom on the Spectrum. I'm here to help guide you, and I've created a guide using all of the expertise that I've gained over the past few years as I've learned about my own place on the autism spectrum as a mom of 2. I was diagnosed at age 31, and my ADHD brain is like not letting me talk linearly to you right now. So anyways, I'm 35 now, and I have taken everything I've learned over the past few years and put them in a 4-step process to help you unstuckify your life. And you can even use it for sexual challenges related to what we're going to talk about in this video. So if you're interested in checking that out, it is a downloadable guide, and I will put the link in the description for you. Also, if you're new here, make sure that you like this video if it's helpful to you and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all of the latest resources. That being said, let's jump in. So my first initial disclaimer here is going to be there is no shame in talking about sex, and I'm here to talk about it with you. I'm not scared to talk about it. Sex is a natural, normal human experience. It's a beautiful part of life, and it can also be a very challenging part of life, especially for autistic people. So there's no shame in talking about it. There's no shame in wherever you might find yourself today as you relate to the issues that we're going to talk about. So I want to encourage you to take a deep breath with me. We'll go ahead and do it together. And then we're just going to sigh out any shame or feel weird feelings, okay? You're welcome to show up however you are today. So we're here in this together. Okay. First of all, I'm going to read something that I just found on spectrumnews.org, which is an awesome website. And I will put a link to this in the description as well. Gender identity and sexuality are more varied among autistic people than in the general population, and autism is more common among people who do not identify as their assigned sex than it is in the population at large, 3 to 6 times as common. Super interesting. Also, I want to share this statistic. Only 30% of autistic people in a 2018 study identified as heterosexual, compared with 70% of neurotypical participants. That is a big statistic. And although half of 247 autistic women in a 2020 study identified as cisgender, just 8% reported being exclusively heterosexual. Okay, so hopefully you can see through this. There's a lot of varied experiences of sexuality, and heterosexuality does not appear to be the norm for the neurodivergent population, especially the autistic population. So maybe you found yourself wanting to have more varied experiences of sexuality, and you find yourself having different tastes and preferences than others. I'm here to tell you that welcome to the autistic community. You're in good company here. One important component of sexuality that's really important to cover as an autistic person is sensory overwhelm. So we tend to get easily overwhelmed by information we take in through the senses. Obviously, sex is a very engaging activity. It engages all of our senses, and that can be very challenging for autistic people depending on the day, depending on the season of life we're in. And so things like one almost universal experience, it's never 100% in our community, but a very common experience in our population is that we do not like light touch. Like if somebody barely touches your skin or grazes past you, it is very upsetting for whatever reason. So you might find that like a deeper, firmer pressure on your skin actually feels more regulating, not even just in a sexual way, but like in a regulating way. Sometimes deep, intense pressure can feel really good to autistic people. So that's something you could incorporate in your sexual experiences and kind of play around with that and see if that's something that might feel better. Also, our experience of sensory overwhelm is going to vary from day to day as an autistic person. So maybe if you're familiar with spoon theory, this is just a way to communicate how much energy and resources we have available on a given day. So if you're feeling like you have a lot of spoons one day, you had a lot of sleep and you're well rested and work's going well and the kids aren't fighting, you might have more energy and you might feel more open to a sexual experience. You might have less sensory overwhelm that day and it might feel better to you. But you might have a really stressful day, a series of sleepless nights and work is stressful and the kids are fighting. And this can heighten our sensory overwhelm, right? We have fewer spoons to help us manage our day. And this can make sensory overwhelm especially triggering. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're the partner of a neurodivergent person. If they've had a stressful day, physical touch might be the very last thing that they're wanting. And again, these are generalizations. Not all of us have these experiences, but it can be confusing for the partner, but also as for the individual to understand, why are my sexual needs changing so much from day to day? And I would bet as an autistic person, it has a lot to do with your nervous system regulation, with the amount of sensory overwhelm that you've experienced that day, and probably the amount of rest that you've been able to incorporate into your life. Also, within the autistic community, there are so many different experiences of sexual interest. So on one far side of the spectrum, we would have asexuality, which is not feeling sexual attraction to anyone. And on the other side of the spectrum would be hypersexuality, where you're fixated on sexual experiences and maybe to the point of obsession. Okay. So in between, there are plenty of other experiences. And that's where part 2 is going to come in. We're going to talk about gray sexual, asexual, demisexual, heterosexual, hypersexual, hyposexual. I'll throw a bunch of terms at you that might help you further understand your experiences. Okay. But just know for now, you can oscillate back and forth between different sexual preferences and experiences, and that really just means you're a human. A lot of people will tend to find themselves more in one camp than the other, but that doesn't mean that you can't experience different iterations of that throughout your life. Again, probably based on the chapter of your life and how stressful it's been, what you're open to, what you're not open to at the moment. So part of this is just welcome to being human, right? We change and evolve and grow over time. So creating space for ourselves within that framework is really important. Allow yourself to grow and evolve and change and have different needs on different days. And honestly, I know that can be frustrating for a partner, but it can also keep your sex life vibrant. It can also keep you checking in and realizing that, let's not keep this the same all the time. Let's talk about where we're at and figure out what might feel better today than it did yesterday. 2 more things I want to talk about. One is that sex can be very regulating. I may have mentioned this already, but let's talk about it a little bit more. So whenever you have sex with another person, there's this co-regulation that happens, right? So you're sharing space with another person, and whenever we are close to another person, our breathing patterns change, our heartbeat can change and vary whenever we're having sex with another person. Okay, we kind of co-regulate with each other, and it can be a very kind of balancing experience. So for some of us, when we get overwhelmed, it might actually be really therapeutic and regulating to have sex with someone, with your partner, with someone you trust and care about, who's going to meet you where you're at, right? In the way that feels good to you. But sex can be a very regulating experience when you are feeling particularly stressed. Now, again, there's so many caveats here when we're talking about neurodivergence. Some people, when they're stressed, they're not going to want to be touched at all. So if you are in a partnership, this is a great thing to talk about. What are your preferences? How can your partner show you support? What type of touch feels good to you? And just let yourself be open to exploring that. Stay curious. Anytime, you'll hear me say, anytime that judgment creeps in, see if you can flip that to a spirit of curiosity. If you're feeling judgmental towards yourself, how can I become more curious about why I feel the way that I feel, or why I want the things that I want? Okay, stay curious and open as much as possible. Along with that, it's kind of bringing up another topic. I knew this is just our first foray into autism and sexuality on Mom on the Spectrum, and I have a lot to say. So in this act of regulating, using or enjoying sex as kind of a regulating experience, I think for some of us it can be difficult because we've lost a lot of self-confidence along the way, probably due to being late diagnosed and not knowing that we're autistic. We've masked a lot. We might not really know what we want. We might not really know what we need. And we've probably done this in the bedroom as well. We've probably masked to give our partner what we thought they needed. And you might find yourself wondering like, oh, what do I even want? What do I need? And that, I guess, will lead me to the last point that I wanted to make, is talking about masturbation. Masturbation also, there's no shame in this, and this tends to be more common for people on the spectrum because actually, spoiler alert, this can be a way to stim. Okay, so we've talked about stimming on the channel. Stimming is any physical activity that helps you move pent up excess energy outside of the body. Hello, masturbation, check, that fits that box, right? So some of you have been, courageous and bold and shared experiences within the community where you feel more hypersexual in that regard, to where you notice that you stem through masturbation and wonder if there's something wrong with you. So just know, if you resonate with that there are many others in the autistic community who stem through masturbation. Masturbation is a healthy way to explore what you want and what you like sexually. So if you find yourself thinking like, I really want to have a fuller experience of my sexuality, but I don't even know where to start, be curious, get curious with yourself. It doesn't have to start sexual. You can just start by figuring out like what type of touch feels good to you. Does it feel good when you squeeze your forearms? Does it feel good like when you rub your neck? It can start really, really small and easy, and you can just do it in the comfort of your own home when you're feeling well regulated, right? I wouldn't do this when you're feeling super stressed. If you're just kind of new to exploring what types of touch feel good, probably do it when you're feeling more well regulated, you're in a safe space, and you have some time where you don't feel rushed or stressed or anything like that. So self-exploration is definitely a great place to start. And then if you're in a committed partnership, having conversations with your partner, just open conversations where you can share what you're thinking, what you're wanting, maybe what you want to try together. And again, coming at this together with a spirit of curiosity rather than judgment. Keep it light. Try not to take yourself too seriously. Sex can be a really fun avenue of self-exploration, of exploration with your partner, of deepening relationships, of regulating yourself. There's so many wonderful aspects related to sexual experiences, and there's a lot of shame around it. So I hope that this video kind of helps break up that shame a little bit. Let's start talking about it. Let's have conversations about it. Definitely nothing to be ashamed of. And actually, I think it's a really exciting opportunity to just experience life in a deeper, more fulfilling way. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. I know this is a big topic for us here at Mom on the Spectrum. Please like this video if it was helpful to you. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss parts 2 and 3, which I'll have out soon. And then check the link in the description for that Unstuckify Your Life guide that you can download right now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.